Hey everyone, my name's Joe and I'm a solutions architect at Flywheel. Today we'll be covering how to activate your customer data stored in Snowflake by using Flywheel's audience builder to create audiences and export that data continuously to your end destination platform, in this case, Amazon S3. So as I mentioned, we have already connected to Snowflake using a service account that we have created, but you could also go through the same process with Amazon Redshift and Google BigQuery as well. We support Snowflake, BigQuery, and Redshift as your cloud data warehouses that you can connect to our platform. So I have already provided the service account to Flywheel, and you can see that I've created a dataset group as well. The dataset group will contain connected tables that you would build audiences off of. So in this case, we have connected a customers table containing all of your customer data. We have a transaction table, which outlines some of the purchases that your customers may have made, and an events table, which will highlight things such as email opens and interactions that you may have with your customers. So after you have a dataset group created and datasets connected, you can then head over to the audience builder. In the audience builder, in order to create your first audience, you will start in the top right corner by clicking New Audience. And today we will start with the basics. So we will first name this audience, and I will call this California Engaged Customers. You'll see why that's relevant here in a second. So as you start building out your audience, the first thing you're able to do is set up an audience exclusion. You can look at all of your previously created audiences and see if you don't want to overlap with any of those audiences. In this case, I'm okay. I don't need to exclude any other audiences, but if you want to prevent over-targeting or retargeting the same customers, then you can do that here through this audience exclusion. Moving on, you will see that we have filters available for us to start creating a targeted audience list beyond our total amount of customers. So the first thing I will do is I will filter on the state, which in this case is California. After I set the state here to California, you will see that my total customer count here in the top right automatically updates and jumps down to about 109,000. What's happening behind the scenes is that we are translating your user selection of equal to California into a SQL query that is run on your data warehouse. And that returns an audience list size of 109,000. Additionally, something I may be interested in is how many times an email has been opened by this group of people. So let's say total email opens is greater than 40. And this would represent a group of your customers who are very engaged with your content. And so you'll see on the right-hand side here that this audience count updates again. And you may also notice that there's an Insights tab here, which tells you a little bit more about your audience. The first thing you can look at is your total revenue, which represents how much revenue is touched by this specific group of people. And then you also see a treatment and control tab as well. Treatment and control tab is useful when exporting to your destinations because you can simply withhold a selected control group, and that represents the group of people who you do not want to receive your marketing communications. This is useful later on when you're performing audience evaluation in the app to gauge if the campaigns or audience lists that you're setting up with Flywheel are driving any revenue lift, any more engagement, or any metric you would like to see displayed. In this case, we are simply going to export the entire group with no control. So we'll set the treatment to 100% and the control to 0%. The last thing to show is breakdown. It can be useful as you're building an audience to get some more reports on their demographic or what is useful about them for targeting. So here, one thing I may want to see is what is the city that each one of these people in the audience belong to. Once you have examined your breakdowns and are happy with your audience selection criteria, you can continue building more audiences or select your draft audience, click Export, and select your desired destination. In this case, we will be exporting to Amazon S3. Simply click Start Export, and you are done. You will notice that this export is ongoing, which means that as new customers enter this selection criteria, they will also be added to this list and synced to S3. That is it. Thank you all.